This episode of the Three Gun Show is brought to you by Isotune Sport, the next generation of hearing protection. I love their ear pro. I wear the advanced or the caliber models when I'm shooting, which are in ear, and I wear the Defy muffs when other people are shooting, like rifles. If I'm standing to the side, there's a muzzle brake or something like that. All of those models have their tactical sound control technology, which allows you to hear range commands and what's going on around you, but suppress gunshots. And one feature I had no idea I'd use so much is Bluetooth. I can be a little set in my ways, so I didn't think I needed Bluetooth in my ear pro. But with Isotune Sport, you can actually listen to music or a podcast and hear what is going on around you so you're not taken by surprise. Because of that, the Advance not only go with me to the range, but they have become my go-tos for the gym and walking around my neighborhood. They've lasted countless 30-minute sessions in 134-degree heat in the sauna, and they're still kicking. My hearing is important to me, and yours should be important to you too. Thanks to Isotune Sport for supporting the shooting sports and sponsoring the show. Be sure to check them out to upgrade your ear pro. You've heard me talk for the last couple months about the Tactical Games speed and agility training that I've been doing. In case you've missed it, the Tactical Games put out a program designed specifically for practical shooting sports like 3-gun, 2-gun, USPSA, etc. And they have an app, and every day there's a new workout for you to do that is focused on building speed, balance, practice, protecting your joints, and strengthening your tendons. And you just do that in your gym, your home gym, whatever you have available to you. And then you log your scores and all that stuff and get feedback from the group. If you've been on the fence about doing the program yourself, there is no better time like the new year to improve your fitness. It's really been the theme of the last bunch of shows here is how you can improve yourself, how you can evaluate what you've done and decide what you want to do better going forward. Don't wait. Check out the link in the show notes, sign up now, and start working out with me and the rest of the crew today. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Dave Hartman. I have some exciting news. First, as you can tell by my voice, I've finally completed puberty. Second, this is the start of the 9th season of the Three Gun Show. I have a bunch of cool stuff to tell you about that we have planned for this season, but as you can tell by my voice, I'm a little under the weather, so I'm going to save that for another time, and we'll jump right into this week's show, which is with the Match Director of the 2023 USPSA Multigun Nationals, Mr. Adam Maxwell. As you may know, USPSA and Multigun have had a bit of a love-hate past, and Adam is one of those people that believes in changing an organization from within, so he has stepped up to guide the match in a positive direction. You'll hear all about it in this show, so please enjoy. Adam, welcome back to the show.
It's 3-gun time.
Buddy, it's great to have you. It's multi-gun time. We got a theme of this podcast here. We got a lot to talk about. Some interesting things have happened in late December, early January. It's February 1st as we're recording this and getting ready to kick off the podcast season again. And happy to have you here with me and happy to have such a cool topic to talk about, which we're going to be talking about new division for USPSA Multigun coming up this year. Modified division, been ringing that bell for years, and it seems like the marketplace is finally coming online, which is exciting, and there's more opportunities. So there is a provisional division for USPSA, spoiler alert, and a couple new shooting opportunities as well, and we're here to talk about all that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like when we first get into the shooting sports, it seems like these organizations are just like big, like rock pillars of, if you want something changed, too bad.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of cool to see a project like this get pushed across the finish line, and we finally are in a place to influence a change. We finally know the people who can put it in place, and just watching it all come together has been a very rewarding experience.
Yeah. There's I guess kind of to paint a picture, right? So, USPSA has put out a provisional division for modified division. Modified is kind of the drum been banging for, a couple years now with the 3-gun show. which is like we need I initially proposed it as like an update for TAC Ops, and a lot of different rules there stirred a ton of feathers. And then, of course, in true, like, I guess, libertarian fashion or in capitalist fashion, the suggestion was made like, hey, let's create a whole new division and then just let the marketplace decide what the marketplace wants. And so that is where modified division came from. Modified division is kind of like a step between TAC Ops and open, has like pretty much TAC Ops rifle, but you can have a bipod on it as well. It has a slide ride dot on your pistol, also allows like 2011 style pistols, which is really exciting. And then for shotgun, still tube style shotgun, 12 rounds, load that baby up from the get-go, which I love. So we're no longer downloading that. And then, you can have an electronic sight on there too. So you can have a red dot on the shotgun. So that is, that's pretty exciting, man. It's pretty cool to put something out there in the sphere and like let people play with it and stuff like that. And then, you get, again, a lot of people that we know working behind the scenes to make stuff happen. And then, just everybody's tugging in the same direction, it seems like, and market is responding.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been the work of a lot of people over. I mean, in today's age, we think things just take 10 minutes, but people have been working on this for years.
Yeah.
Taking your idea, massaging it a little bit, starting to float it in the direction of organizations like USPSA. USPSA is fluid, but like Mike Whiteside says about Texas, like the gears of change turn slowly. They turn, but they turn slowly, so going through that process to get it all done and everything. It's been a long road, and I feel like I'm kind of pushed forward to talk about it a lot, but Travis called me a fullback today. I'm really the fullback of the thing.
Yeah.
So like a lot of other people got it to the 10-yard line, and I was kind of just there for the final 10 yards to get it done. And really that came from a phone call with Mark Stevens. Just one day he was like, hey, would you consider doing this for Kirkwald? And yeah, sure. And so there was a group of like three of us that were, 3 matches that were going to do it. And then, when you kind of set the example, you kind of create the atmosphere for it, and then some people try it, and then they start talking about it, and then it starts to spread to other organizations and matches. It's been kind of wild to watch it catch fire. So,
yeah. And I think it's pretty cool that, one of the big complaints that we've had for like a long time, ever since I started the show, and then, the 5 years that I shot before then, is that matches can't get on the same page with gear stuff, right? So you'd have, like for example, Rocky Mountain 3-gun didn't allow coupled magazines in TAC Ops. Just an example off the top of my head. But there's other like small little things that were kind of the same way, right? But this one, it seems like people from the outset of starting this, it seems like most people are getting on the same page with the rule, like a consolidated rule set, whether they are like a USPSA specific match or if it's an outlaw match. For example, last week or the week before, we saw Texas 3-gun now offering modified division for 2023, which is that's a huge thing because Aaron's been on the show before. We've talked about divisions and specifically in this context here. And, Texas 3-gun sells out every time. They don't need to try new things. So for them to see the value in it and to want to push it and support it, like that's a huge deal.
Yeah. I mean, I would argue that Texas 3-gun championship is the biggest match of the year. And so, especially when that episode specifically was such a kind of a turning point for getting, it was very much the inciting incident, I think, of what was the beginning of the end of getting this done. And, Aaron being on there and seeming open-minded to it, and then kind of not we went a whole nother season without them recognizing the division. To see them come online with it now has been a big relief. I mean, I signed up for the match in open anticipating them not allowing it. But I think, the buzz that we're seeing right now was spurred by a survey that went out by Memorial 3-Gun. That got everybody talking. And within 24 hours, I mean, we had, Aaron contacted us for what are the specifics of this division. And, they kind of finalized announcing it into their match. And then also Jeremy Moore with the Vortex Shootout. He also sent out a survey to his people, and the Vortex Shootout is opening up to similar type things in their match as well. So now it went from kind of like which matches are doing this. There's kind of one or two to we were just talking today, like name me a match that's not doing it right now.
Yeah.
Not a major match that you can't shoot a slide ride pistol in right now, outside of open. And I don't know that there's very many because Superstition's been doing it for years. I think they call it stealth.
Mm-hmm.
The Zoo City boys have been doing it. They call it Carry Optics. We've been doing it up in the upper Midwest, calling it modified. And then at the end of the day, I don't think any of the rule sets are very far apart. So I think it's getting easier and easier for us to kind of come together on some consensus as to what the rules are. Obviously I've become involved in USPSA. I think, that's a good hub for all this stuff. I think, Dave, you remember when we first started in the sport, like the rules were very different match to match. And while there are still differences match to match, in the outlaw status of it, realistically, the differences are like 10%.
Yes.
There's not a lot of major differences
unless you get to heavy
matches. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, I remember when I started shooting, it was like 2011, right? So that was 3-Gun Nation was a thing. I'm not sure that they had their matches then. I'm honestly not sure if that was a thing at the time, but
it was a thing. They weren't a series yet.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So they didn't have their series. So they didn't have a rule set. Then let's see, there was, we pretty much had all the Western matches, but UML was not a thing. What was the other one that PCSL? PCSL wasn't a thing. Let's see, gosh, why am I drawing a blank? Oh, Tactical Games. They've got TAC 2-Gun now. That wasn't a thing. So if you wanted a rule set, you kind of had to go USPSA right? USPSA Multigun and that was the one common thing. It was like rifle has this, and this, and it was basically like copied and pasted out of the USPSA rule book with the modifiers for whatever match it was. Same thing with shotgun. And then pistol, it always said USPSA limited pistol. That's what it always said for TAC and limited. And so
I feel like there was 3. Like I feel like back in the day there were kind of 3 base rule books that were still very similar, but it was USPSA, it was Blue Ridge, and then I think the third one was either like Rocky Mountain.
No, Rocky Mountain's based on was based on like international multi-gun rules or something like that.
That's what it was. Yeah. International multi-gun rules.
Yeah, and what's crazy though is like how whatever, it doesn't matter. But speaking of Blue Ridge, like their last match last year, 2022, they had a Carry Optics division as well. So like the future is dotted for sure, right?
Well, like on the commercial side, you can, no pistol is hitting the market now that's not optics ready.
Yeah.
And, it pains me to say it, but like, I mean, we're probably heading pretty close to a day where like you might have to order the iron sights extra,
that'd look weird.
That's the direction that it's going. But vast majority of pistols being sold now are optics ready. If for no other reason on the commercial side, because you can sell a pistol that's optics ready to someone who wants irons, but you can't sell a pistol that's not optics ready to somebody who wants an optics ready pistol. Yeah. So the retailers are ordering them optics ready, even if they have the option, they're ordering them optics ready. So that is the direction they're going. Now, obviously I represent an optics company, so we're invested in that that movement, but like the sales numbers and the participation numbers of what people are shooting are overwhelmingly moving in that direction. And, professionally, I'm involved in the law enforcement side, overwhelmingly moving in that direction. So it only made sense to make more places for more contemporary equipment to play in our sport. Otherwise we're going to go the way of service rifle and I-Core.
Yeah. I mean, it does make sense. And we've talked like at length of the reasons on the show, and I think now the market has proven what we proposed basically on the show, and what a lot of the people have been pushing again behind the scenes. And so I want to pull up real quick this is the USPSA Appendix D6, and I believe this is the provisional thing. So you'll kind of see here, like pistol does say yes, limited pistol rules with slide mounted dot. And then once we get to shotgun, you've got traditional tube shotgun with maximum length of 52 inches. Max magazine length on the pistol is 141 or 171 if it's single stack, which would be silly. And then let's see, compensators. Barrel porting, which is kind of interesting. Barrel porting is allowed on the shotgun. So that's a first, I think, we're seeing of tube fed outside of open. But big picture wise, if you look at this, like we're looking at modified division rules that are congruent with IPSC. So now you can shoot modified division in multi-gun, take that same shotgun and compete on the world stage in IPSC if that's something that you're interested in. And then down here, non-magnifying or iron sights. You can have electronic sights, an optional. Let's see. Yeah. So optional on the pistol must be attached directly to slide between rear slide and ejection port. May not be mounted to frame, which makes total sense. Keeps it away from open. So that's kind of the gist of the, I guess, the breakdown of the rules. And you can find that on USPSA's website. You're looking for Appendix D6 there. So
yep. And a couple of things to kind of to square the conversation, like where did the name come from? Well, the name is based off the shotgun, actually, because modified shotgun is an international IPSC thing. Mm-hmm. So if we were looking for essentially how do we make a contemporary division inside of the sport that we currently have, and so a modified shotgun is a good place to start, because also to add a division, we're kind of looking for, you've talked about this a lot on the show. We're looking for division separation. Mm-hmm. So this needs to be different than TAC optics, but also different than open in an appreciable way. And then also, we have the problem in the US of like a lot of our sport doesn't have a direct pathway to international IPSC. We're in the qualifying year for a shotgun world shoot. And IPSC shotgun is not an active sport in our area, but USPSA does have slots to the world shoot, and we do have people that want to go. So starting to normalize some of our divisions on those international divisions made some sense. And that was kind of the focal point for some of the people who thought about this division. How do we integrate some of the ideas that we talked about, on the show? Was it 2 years ago now? Mm-hmm. 2 years ago now. How do we bring this in? Well, how about we call it modified division, and we integrate some of the stuff that we've been talking about.
Yeah, August of 21 is when I did the episode by myself. That was the 300th episode of the show. Did that one by myself so I could catch all the flack, and then we've just been talking about it ever since. August 2021. But so you mentioned a path to IPSC Worlds. So fun fact. Multigun has a rule set where, and I didn't know this until the PCC pistol 2-gun came out. It was like, oh, that makes sense. That multi-gun doesn't just mean 3-gun. It's not just the name for 3-gun. Like it's also like long gun sports, 2-gun can run under that as well. And I know Donnie Flo is running 2 shotgun matches out east under USPSA rules. So those will be, I don't know if those are qualifiers or if those are just like prep matches for Worlds or what, but I thought that was kind of exciting. Like again, the marketplace is like really trying to back a play for, world or competitive shooting on the world stage from the United States.
Yeah. Well, and that's like you say, that's kind of an undersold part of the multi-gun rules is for on the USPSA side, they encompass the long gun sports, multi-gun and 3-gun.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where like a lot of people have been asking for 2-gun lately. Well, we're actually the match that was traditionally the Wisconsin State 3-gun championship for 2023. That's actually going to be a USPSA Area 5 championship. And it is a 2-gun championship. It is a rifle pistol, like a bottleneck rifle, AR-15, 2-gun match that is governed under USPSA multi-gun rules. So all the divisions in the multi-gun rules, those are the divisions. And any one that we get 10 or more people to sign up for are going to be recognized. And, we can use all those sports already exist under the multi-gun rule set. It's just a matter of clubs taking the initiative to want to put on these events, so if you want to put on an area level event, multi-gun event, you can. If you want to put on an area level 2-gun event, you can. If you want to put on an area level or a section level shotgun match, you can under the multi-gun rule set. The rules are there.
You could even do like a carbine match, right?
Yep. You can do carbine matches too. That's all. I mean, why is the rule book as long as it is? Because it has the framework for all of that stuff.
And because USPSA loves rules, man. Boy, do those guys love rules.
Yeah, but they're also a franchise, So like if you look at like our friend Jeremy Moore, if he wants to put on a match, he doesn't have to describe to himself what you have to do to put on a Vortex Shooter Source match. He already knows. He just needs rules to play. And so the multi-gun rule set, like I've read it cover to cover twice already just this year. And
just the multi-gun part?
Just the multi-gun part. And the reason what's in there, it's essentially the framework of if a new range started up today and they're like, we want to do USPSA multi-gun, like the Bible, they could hand it to them and here's what you do. And it has stage design in there. It has officiation. It has rules. It has penalties. It has procedures. It has arbitration. It has divisions. It has all that spelled out. As a competitor, really all you got to know is section 8, 9, and 10, depending on how ornery you are.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like USPSA competitors love to be ornery. And I think it's like that. It appeals to me from my observation. It appeals a lot to engineering type minds. And those people freaking love rules too. Like I worked in aerospace for 8 years. And, you're constantly reading specifications that refer to other specifications that refer to other specifications, et cetera. So, you're absolutely right. Like, to build something like you, especially if you're not there, like, you do need all the information to build it. Like, that totally does make sense. I guess, like, on a higher level, they need, like, a section 8, 9, and 10, just kind of like a how-to manual, something brief, because for me, like when I first started shooting USPSA matches with some friends, like again, we're talking like 2012 years, a long time ago. My like I guess mentor in the game was like, oh yeah, you got to read the rule book. You need to know all the rules and make sure that you're following them.
No, you don't.
And then I go and like order the rule book because at that time you could get them, and like holy crap, it was overwhelming. It's like, I guess I'll stick to 3-gun where like a guy just explains everything to you and then you just go shoot.
Yeah. You started reading it and they lost you before you got out of section 1.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, 100%. And like, cause section 1 has so many things that are, pertinent to putting a match on the ground or to officiating a match or something like that. But like as a new person, like none of that, you don't even have any context for it. So like none of it really even made sense. So maybe there's
kind of like if you buy anything now today, like I bought a grill the other day. There's the manual that it comes with, and then there's the quick start guide.
Yeah.
Like I pulled this thing out of the box when I was hungry. Like I want to put it together and make something on it. I don't want to read the whole manual. I want to know how to make it do the thing. And so like, yeah, I mean, that's actually a really good idea, Dave. We should have like the quick start guide for the rule book. but yeah, that's essentially, because I went in there, I started reading the rule book, especially I think it's your quote, that they need to throw away 12 pages of the rule book. Well, which one? Well, any 12?
Oh, that wasn't me. I was quoting someone else.
Okay. But like that really struck me. So when I was reading it, I'm looking for what am I going to tell Jake Martins that we got to throw out of this thing? And I couldn't find it. Like it all kind of has to be there. And now like the parts that I would change or I would go around, I know it's going to run into resistance because of, USPSA trying to keep a consistent product, so like, how do we govern a cold range? You can't just say, don't do dumb stuff. Like they have to say, you do this in this area and you don't do this in this area. And so like, but I read through it and I was like, well, there's stuff that I would tweak, but like, there's not fluff in there that you could just throw out and not have a hole in your sport for some possible contingency that a match administrator would have to deal with.
Yeah. And when you do start reading through it, like you're absolutely right. There is a lot of stuff, and some of the rule books, some of the other rule books that I've read in the past, or lack thereof, they, like you said, they always had like, major holes, and everything was like, well, it's up to the match director. And it's like, okay, well now, it's just like, is the match director or the range master in a good mood today? If I have like a challenge, and it's like, we don't all know, we're not all playing the same game because we haven't all read the same rules,
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally get that.
I was at a match this fall, put on by a different organization, and something happened, and they were trying to figure out, is it an FTE and a procedural, or it was like a shot over time. I think it was like a target shot over time, like over par time. What's the penalty? But they didn't specifically say.
Yeah.
Last shot fired and blah blah. So it was like, oh well, it's a this and it's a that, and there's like 3 or 4 ways that were legitimately getting discussed as what the penalty this dude was going to get. And I was like, what's the rule book say? And then they're like, well, we don't have a rule for this. USPSA doesn't really have that problem because the rule set's a lot more mature. Like there's a very set, sequence of if then statements that'll get you to the penalty, or at least to a binary solution.
Yeah.
Whereas, sometimes, on these looser rule sets, you're kind of at the mercy of the guy putting it on and who he made range master.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, we kind of got off track there. We started talking about USPSA Multigun Nationals, modified division allowed there, and then we got into 2-gun. So let's table 2-gun real quick. I want to get back to talking about 2-gun, because I think the Wisconsin 3-gun championship that we were talking about beforehand is interesting. So I'm going to make a note on that. But let's get back to Multigun Nationals. So
yes,
this year, USPSA Multigun Nationals is in Forest Lake, Minnesota. Birthplace of modified division. I don't know, but
claim it.
But so you're match director. And one of the complaints in the past about USPSA Multigun Nationals specifically is that USPSA pistol staff was running it, and they're not well versed in the, I guess, culture of multigun, right? Multigun, 3-gun, whatever.
Yep.
One of the positives I will say is that Jeff Kirkwell Memorial 2022, Jake Martins, marketing dude at USPSA, showed up to shoot that match, and to everybody's surprise, nobody shot him, and nobody else shot anyone else, and 3-gunners have this undeserved reputation, or maybe deserved in the past, of being incredibly unsafe. And I think having Jake there and seeing the environment and how people interact and what we actually do as 3-gunners from an outside perspective in a match that's not USPSA, I think was at least a good start. And then that turned into Forest Lake being the venue for Multigun Nationals. So that's pretty exciting.
Well, yeah, and so I guess I kind of want this out there too. Like, so they can't, he came up, he audited our event, And in the middle of the match, this was Saturday night, he basically hit me point blank and said, "We really like the way you guys run matches, and we would really like you to run Multigun Nationals for next year. But if you don't, there won't be a Multigun Nationals next year. And if there's not a Multigun Nationals next year, there probably never will be again."
Why would there never be one again? Is it just like
because the organization would move away from it?
Oh, okay. I got it.
You know, so they're already half cocked on like 3-gun. You know, there's not enough interest in 3-gun, and so they're basically saying, we like the way you guys do it, and you're the list that we're interested in having do it next year, and the reason I bring that up is for your RO's comment. My reply to them was, well, it's not me that does this. It's a community that does this. And so if you're going to do it, if you want me to do it, you have to let me do it my way. And that means, to some extent, and that has to mean that you let me use a lot of the people that I'm used to using.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I think, no problem. I think, so it's like everything, right? Have you ever watched Joe Rogan when he had Elon Musk on? He's like, Elon, you have Tesla and you're launching rockets. Like, how do you do this? It's like, Joe, thousands of friggin' people work for this guy. Like, it's not like he's doing it just by himself. And I think a lot of times we do that in everything, right? So, for example, Jeremy Moore is the face of the Vortex shootout, but other people help him do it. You are the match director of Jeff Kirkwell Memorial, but I've been helping with it for years, and I've seen all the same faces every single year come back and help. So there's a massive amount of staff that are unsung heroes that are helping put on Jeff Kirkwell Memorial, that will be helping put on USPSA. And hey, by the way, this happens at every match around the country. So it's not a one person show at all. So the fact that you can bring that already well-oiled machine of the people that help out with Jeff Kirkwell, who also help out with like Hawkeye Ignite stuff and things like that, to USPSA Multigun Nationals is pretty exciting, because it's like you're taking a bunch of 3-gunners who know how to put together a good match and create a good experience, and then putting them in Multigun Nats.
Yeah, I haven't designed a Kirkwald stage in easily 3 years. That's all other people. And so before I said, I talked to Kevin Harrington, who's a big part of making that stuff happen there now. Like, I'll do this, but I'm not doing it without you. Are you on board? Yep. It's like, do you think we have enough people to support this? Yes. Do you think we have enough people who are certified or would be certified by NROI to be range masters or range officers? Yes, but it's a challenge. But so we're some combination of recruiting people who have certification, but also USPSA they're actually bringing 2 classes. They're bringing one to the Vortex Edge facility here actually in 2 weeks to train people up so that we have enough for Multigun Nationals. And then they're bringing one to the event itself to get as many of the people as we're used to putting on matches at Forest Lake, people who you're used to running the Kirkwald and you're used to running Trigun, getting them certified, to run the USPSA version of Multigun. And then also, like, I get approached a lot by people who have traditionally been involved with the organization and perhaps the match, from other areas. Specifically at Memorial last year, I got hit up a bunch. And there's a lot of people who are like, oh yeah, we're going to wait and see what the compensation package is and see if we want to go. And
for ROs.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And so it's become apparent to me that a lot of these people on the pistol side who worked the match, well, they did it because they kind of got compensated to shoot the match, and they kind of needed the help. Well, this year, I'm going to be right up front. Like, the package is not the same, but I also am trying to rebrand the match. So like, I don't necessarily want all the same people to come back, so we're trying to use as many of the Hawkeye people as we can. And then we're supplementing with other people from around the country. But it's a curated list specifically for this reason. The only the biggest complaints I hear about USPSA Multigun and why people would or wouldn't shoot it is the staff and all that. So we're very specifically curating who we're going to pick and how we're going to manage all that. Because I very specifically didn't want them to just put my name on their thing and then do the same thing that they always did. Now there's some things I can't get around, like range master. There's a process to be a USPSA range master. It takes 5 years.
5 years?
Yes. So Troy McManus is going to be the range master.
What does that pay?
That's just nothing.
Well, then how are you going to get someone to dedicate 5 years to that?
All right. So therein lies the problem.
Goodness.
So Troy McManus is the range master. People may feel a certain way about that. They might not. But what a lot of people don't realize is that in that big rule book that they complain about, there's an arbitration process above range master. Well, guess who the arbitration committee is going to be? Well, guess why they won't let me be the range master? Because the match director appoints an arbitration committee that would have to be independent of a range master decision. Well, I can tell you right now, the arbitration committee is going to be Aaron Hayes, Jomar Villamore, and maybe Max Leograndis. Match directors from the traditional outlaw matches are going to be the people you're making your case to. So, it's.
Do they know that, or did they just get voluntold on the show?
Oh no, I talked to him.
Oh, okay.
I went straight up to Aaron Hayes and I was like, "Hey, man, are you coming to nationals?" And he had an issue with it. Going back to the last time Shotgun World Shoot was, and I was like, "Well, I'm trying to fix it. Will you help me?" He's like, "What do you need me to do?" And I was like, "I need to assemble the
super crew,
the godfathers of the four families." I need you to be on the arbitration committee. And he's like, "Oh, I love arguing with people. Yeah, I'll do that."
That's awesome.
So he's like, "I can still shoot the match." I was like, "Yeah, you can shoot the match."
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah. So, this, like, I've never shot USPSA Multigun Nats, and it's for that exact reason. Like, every time, I've decided like a long time ago. I decided long ago that life's too short to be treated like shit, and so I avoid situations where I'm treated like shit. And every time Multigun Nats would happen, it's like the word I got back from people was like, "Man," and this is going back like in 2012, 2013. I would hear from the local match directors, like, "Yeah, we were at the hotel and the ROs were talking about how many DQs they got, and like, oh, I got another one today." And then even, when it was in Florida, you hear, guys getting DQ'd for taking their holster and belt and gun off inside of a trailer, and people just like lying in wait. So hang on, let me finish. I specifically avoided because of those reasons. Now, I did go shoot Two Gun Nats, or not Two Gun Nats. Was it called Two Gun Nats? I think it was.
It was. That was lame.
It's right here. Yep. Two Gun Nationals. Sorry, I've got my patch over here, so I know what it's called. But it's PCC and pistol. And what I expected and what I found were two completely different things. I had a great time at the match. I was treated fairly. Staff was awesome, that kind of thing. So, like you said, like from the outside, everything seems like, an uncrackable nut kind of thing, but you do realize over the years that things do change. And I think there has been positive changes, and putting into the arbitration team that you're talking about, the godfathers, as you wish, the staff from Hawkeye and JKM, I think those are all good moves in the right direction to actually make a good Multigun Nationals.
Yeah, and I really think that DQs that happen off the clock are our failure as an event administration.
Yeah.
So we're direct instructions from the meeting will be like, "Hey, you are trying to keep people in the match." Now, the rules are there and they're going to be enforced, but like we're also, there's enforcing the rules, and then there's setting people up for success.
Yeah.
To behave within the rules. So,
yeah,
for example,
in Colorado defense law, there's self-defense, and then there's a thing called lying in wait, right? So like if you discover someone committing a crime and you're, in fear for your life, this is not legal advice. you can act with a firearm. But if you're sitting there waiting with a shotgun in your lap for someone to come along, and you have like your door in your truck open and a stack of 20s on the seat, that is lying in wait. And I think there are instances in the past where it's definitely been like that with some, higher ups in the range staff of USPSA matches.
I mean, I watched a very good friend of mine who everyone in the community would know, get DQ'd for the safety table fault line thing when that first came out at a section match.
I'm not familiar with that. Can you explain that?
So USPSA came out, and at one time they essentially, because they would have a safety table up against a berm, but when are you at the safety table and when are you not?
Mm-hmm.
Well, somebody thought that now they needed fault lines around there so that you would know this is the area. And so 1 foot over the line, straddling the line, he unholstered his pistol for lunch and put it in a was bagging his pistol 1 foot over the line at the safety table, DQ. That's stupid. That's stupid that somebody called him on that. I mean, I get it, but I don't. But that's the kind of stuff that people are worried about. People are paying a few $100s to attend a match that they spent probably a couple, at least $1,000. If they came from out of state, they spend $1,000 at least to shoot, to get DQ'd for that. That to me is unacceptable.
Yeah. The other fun one was the looking through your optic thing, right?
Yeah, that's dumb too.
They don't want you looking through your pistol optic, right? Because you have to draw your pistol. But like, I was at a USPSA club match, and I was shooting the Tavor X95 9mm in PCC. Yep. And as I'm standing waiting, I just did this and looked at it to make sure the dot was on. It's probably better on YouTube than on the podcast. But basically, I was holding the firearm straight up and down, muzzle pointed to the air, and I just lifted it above my head. I looked up and looked through the dot, and then I put it back down. And I got barked at for looking through my dot, and I was like, so what did I do that was unsafe? And like the guy just dropped it right there. He's like, yeah. All right, buddy.
Yeah. So like the staging area thing is in the rule books. That's probably what I get asked about more than anything. The staging area thing is in the rule books. Yes, we have to enforce it. But there's also how you administer it, right? So for those familiar with the range, or certainly familiar with Kirkwald, a good friend of ours in that area, they host a large event, or a large crowd oriented event in the fall. So they have a bunch of gates, a bunch of what's the word I'm looking for? People barriers.
Yeah.
The gates that link together.
Well, those are steel, right? Steel.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just like crowd control barriers
crowd control barriers like you'd see at a concert or something like that. Okay, They have a couple pallets of these things. So we're gonna have a staging area. Staging area is gonna be inside the gates. It's gonna be one gate deep from the berm. It's gonna be three gates long. It's gonna be a big pen. All right, with open corners. And if you're within the gates, you're in the area. And if you're not within the gates, well, then don't do things that you're supposed to be in the area for. But I think that was part of it in the past, is like, they didn't really define that area, or if they defined that area, it wasn't well defined, or if it was well defined, it wasn't in a smart place. Like last year they had a safety table at a couple safety tables that were uprange of the start position. So you couldn't be at the safety table while the stage was going. Well, that's dumb. Whose idea was that?
Unsafety table.
Actually, I think I know who it was, but that person should be ashamed of themselves. But like, that was dumb. All they had to do was move that table back 2 feet.
Yeah, when I went to
back 2 feet.
When I went to Multigun Nationals, I was, like I said, I was super nervous about not doing anything that would get me DQ'd, and the unbagging of the PCC. I read the rules, and I reached out to Scott Green. I'm like, okay, what do I do here? And he kind of walked me through it and stuff. But then when I got there, it was like so much more relaxed than I thought. It was like, oh yeah, just unbag it here, take it muzzle up over there, And then the only stupid thing that I don't like is the chamber indicator, because you're putting a piece of plastic in a hot chamber. I didn't like that. But other than that, it was much, much easier than I thought it was going to be, and much more relaxed. And, the staff, even I asked questions and they look at me like, calm down, bro. Everything's fine. So yeah. I had a good experience for sure.
And the sport came from a martial place where they would knife hand yell at you. But I was talking about this with some other people who are taking over the reins on another event that everyone would know. But basically kind of have arrived at this, the current generation of people that are participating in the sport. Well, they're mostly private civilians. So there's that. But also in 2022, nobody signed up for your beatdown.
Yeah.
Nobody came here to get yelled at. Nobody came here to, so when stage design, it'd be fun to make people blah, blah, blah. And they, outline something that would suck. It's nobody traveled across the country to get yelled at and be subjected to your beatdown. They wanted to shoot. They wanted live action. They wanted live action, dynamic shooting is what they wanted in a controlled environment and be scored against their peers. That's what they wanted. And that's what I think the sport should be delivering in 2023. So,
yeah, strongly agree. Well, okay. So then what can we expect from Multigun Nationals if folks want to go?
We're going to have 8 field courses.
Okay.
So the meeting of the minds has already happened. All the stages have been drawn already.
That's one interesting thing about USPSA is that stages happen a long time out rather than just kind of dragging shit onto
they have to be approved by NROI 6 months in advance. So they're actually very, very much due. So we have eight field courses of the fodder that people would typically expect of the Kirkwalder Tri-Gun at Forest Lake. Tangfo Timmy's actually doing a massive pistol stage, and we may or may not have you stick a sticker on a barrel. We haven't decided if Troy's going to see the humor in that or not.
I was pretty excited to hear that. He's got a pretty good personality. I imagine he makes a good stage.
Which, funny story, they're like, yeah, Timmy wants to do a stage. And I'm like, oh yeah? And he's like, yeah, he wants to know if he has to stick to the 32 round limit. I'm like, no, that's not in the multi-gun rules. It's like, oh, sweet. He was all excited. He got to design this massive pistol stage, bigger than any pistol stage he's ever done before. And he sends me a picture. It's got 36 rounds on it. And I was like, it's all that for 3 more targets, buddy. And he was like, what you wanted more? Yeah, more.
You think we need more? I think we need more.
I think we need more. I was like, put 4 more targets right here. So we're gonna have a massive pistol stage. Obviously some multi-gun stages. The long range area, we have one area that does go to maximum of 400 yards. I believe we're gonna do that as a 1-gun stage. We're kind of gonna kind of do some single gun stages to kind of get the multi-gun thing going. But so 8 big stages the first 2 days. AM PM schedule. You're gonna do both stages both days. But going into day 3, everyone will have the same 8 stages shot. And then on the 3rd day, we're going to do 4 more stages, but they're going to be speed shoots or speed shoot-esque. So two shotgun only speed shoots with aerials and or moving clays. And then two that are in the bays, but essentially kind of inspired by if you go to an area pistol match, or a nationals championship, there's usually 1 or 2 areas where they have 2 small stages in the same bay and you kind of flip flop back and forth. And so the inspiration here was here's how we get 12 stages in 3 days is we're going to do some of these smaller stages on the last day. However, for our entertainment, the USPSA rulebook pretty much stipulates that all stages are worth 100 points.
Oh no.
So So these little stages can absolutely make or break your match.
Yeah.
And so we're going to have DJ Patrol there from Practice Score. And we're going to have, hopefully, the Vortex van with the big live timing and scoring boards out.
Nice.
And we're going to watch the match be decided
on the last day.
We're all going to be in the same area. You can pretty much watch it all go down.
That's pretty exciting.
You got to zero or hero it to be crowned the Multigun Nationals champion.
Huh. I like that. Good times. That sounds like a pretty exciting format.
I'm pretty excited about that. I designed those stages. Worked really hard. Drew them on graph paper. But there's going to be at least one rabbit, probably two.
Oh no.
And then three sporting clays, aerials for sure, between those two stages. And then, some pipes too. And then we're also going to have there's going to be an open sporting clays side match going on as well, like a legit sporting clays shoot as well, like we've done in the past at Kirkwald.
Mm-hmm.
So like on your off time, you can participate in the sporting clays match as well.
On your off time, you mean on Sunday?
Or on the Friday or Saturday when you're your AM or PM.
Oh, okay. So it is AM, PM. Got it. That's where I was going.
Yep, we're doing AM, PM.
And then how does that work on Sunday? Is it still AM, PM kind of thing?
Well, it's going to be early, late, but it's going to be like 8 a.m. start and 10 a.m. start.
Okay. So
kind of thing.
People are going to
anticipate those stages going very quickly.
So people are going to complete it. So you will have like half the match complete it first and then half the match complete it second?
Yep.
On Sunday?
Yep.
Okay. Got it.
And then we also have a contingency for if weather gets really bad, then that's never happened, but I was there at the Marble Falls match when 3 Gun Nation had to throw out half the match. So
yeah,
if that were to happen, like we have some flexibility around what we do to finish the match.
Is it an octagon?
Yes.
Just duke it out.
Yep. I
love it. Well, cool. All right, Amax, last thing before we wrap up here. You mentioned 2 gun. Oh, actually, let's pause and rewind. Is the match open? Can we sign up for Multigun Nationals now?
Yes, registration is actually open right now.
When is it?
It is July. The main match is July 21st to the 23rd.
Okay. So it is a 3-day match.
Yep, it's a 3-day match, July 21st to the 23rd. The staff shoot is the 2 days prior. Yeah, registration's open right now. I believe the match fee is $295.
Mm-hmm.
And what else? You do have to be a current USPSA member. It's their championship, so you got to join their organization. But yeah, we got lots of good stuff in store for everybody. So head on over to Practice Score, get signed up, and hopefully we'll see you in July.
Sweet. I would say book accommodations early
yes.
Because the best ones do fill up, the best ones being like 10 minutes from the range. But there are some down the road that are only like 20 minutes away. But yeah, book early. Yep. All right. So 2 gun, let's talk about that real quick. So last you and I talked, Wisconsin 3 gun was going to be again at Winnequa. You were going to be match director. That sounds like it's changed. So what's the current situation there?
Yeah. So in committing to Multigun Nationals, we looked at some of our options for what the Wisconsin State Championship would turn into, with the volunteer power we had. And essentially, the Schultz Gun Club, which is the Milwaukee based club that started the match 4 years ago. I was actually talking to them. We're, Vortex and American Defense Manufacturing are right next to each other at a SWAT conference, and we were talking back and forth, and they were like, well, we'd be open to having it back again. And we started talking about it. And in our area, we've actually had a lot of talk because we have a very strong USPSA community up here, USPSA pistol community. And there's been a lot of people who have said that they would really like to shoot carbines, or they would really like to shoot 2 gun. They just don't want to shoot shotguns. It's just like a hard pass on the shotguns. And we've tried to bring, I've tried to bring 3 Gun Nation up here. I've tried to bring UML up here. They just never take. So
when you say your area, are you talking about a USPSA area? Or are you talking about what are you talking about?
Well, I guess I think of my area as the upper Midwest. So Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois, Dakotas.
Okay.
We have a strong community here, but like, you can shoot a USPSA match every weekend here, within 2 hours of where I live. And then
which is
same thing up in Minneapolis. I live near Madison, Wisconsin.
There you go.
Sorry.
Okay.
So in the southern Wisconsin area, there's tons of USPSA. Up in central Minnesota, there's tons of USPSA. So the thought was, well, let's try, now that we're trying to get some vigor going in multi-gun and long guns in USPSA. Well, what their retort is always, we're open to it. We just need clubs to do it. So essentially we're trying to do the traditional Wisconsin state championship. We're going to do that as an area 5 multi-gun match or an area 5 2-gun match. So it's a 2-gun rifle pistol, 10-stage rifle pistol match.
Wow. That's exciting.
So that's bottlenecked rifle, not PCC. So if you look in the multi-gun rule set, all those divisions, less the shotgun.
Oh, so you can still have a modified division then, right?
Yep. So modified divisions in there, slide ride dot and an AR-15. You want to do heavy division with, 45 and single stack mags, you could do that.
Ooh, sweet.
You want to do heavy optic and you want to shoot major power factor 2011, you can do that. Obviously we have open, obviously we have limited, obviously we have TAC optics. Any of those divisions that 10 or more people sign up for are going to be recognized, and we're going to have a 10-stage area 5 2-gun match at the Schultz Gun Club near Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And for those who already know, but the Tri-Gun got canceled for this year. And we elected to move into their date. So for
yes. 2-gun? Okay. When is that then?
So the area 5 2-gun match is going to be June 16th to the 18th. I believe I have that right. 16th to the 18th in Muskego, Wisconsin.
Okay.
Milwaukee, for those not from here. So the traditional Tri-Gun weekend is now area 5 multi-gun. And also for those not aware, I'm running for the area 5 board of directors seat when it comes open in 2024. And ultimately, my vision would be that area 5 would be at one facility. It would be a pistol, kind of like the Iron Man used to be. It'd be a pistol match one weekend. We would reset / do staff shoot during the week, and then it would be a multi-gun match the second weekend. And then ultimately some area multi-gun matches. The boys down in Texas are talking about potentially doing one, or other areas of the country. Potentially we'd have some area multi-gun matches that culminate in a national championship, which would hopefully be moved later in the year, going forward.
And would that be multi-gun Nats, or are you talking about like a specific 2-gun national championship?
Multi-gun Nats. I think multi-gun nationals should, the championship of multi-gun should be a 3-gun sport, but we have people who are regionally looking for a 2-gun gateway. So hopefully I see it as kind of an intermediate sport. I think 2-gun is better than no gun. So, in the past, I've been very vocal against 2-gun in the past.
100%.
And I would rather shoot 3-gun than 2-gun, but like in my area, there is no club 3-gun going on right now. So it's like, well, if there's a 2-gun match, I'd probably go do that. So, I've kind of committed to some of these major events. So I'm not as active in the club scene here, but hopefully kind of building out some of this structure leads to other areas hosting similar matches, and then club support of 2-gun, and then hopefully more 3-gun as well.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where that goes. It might end up being that shotgun is just becomes like a specialty sport, or I guess action shotgun. I don't know, but it's easy to see that 2-gun is super popular. Like when you look at PCSL and how well they're doing with their 2-gun matches, and then you have that was a 1-gun match. Who's the other one I'm thinking of? Oh, so Tactical Games. Obviously, that's super popular, and they run a 2-gun format. And then they're also introducing a TAC 2-gun format. So, yeah, 2-gun, super popular. Makes sense for USPSA to jump into that with an actual match.
Yeah, there's no reason it shouldn't be a thing.
Mm-mm. No, and I share the same thing as like I was obviously show was called the 3-gun show, so I was super excited about 3-gun as well. But like, if I stop and think about it, like looking back, like, I probably would have shot 2-gun when I started, just because like I started shooting 3-gun because I wanted to shoot the carbine, not because I was like, oh, let's see what I can do with my pump shotgun that I had at the time. So it was just, I got one of those too. So yeah, I don't know. And well, and again, you and I've talked about this before, I think on the show and off the show, that like with the popularity of things like Garand Thumb and T-Rex Arms and all the other sort of, YouTube channels that are reaching the video gamers and bringing in new shooters and stuff like that. And then the retiring folks from the global war on terror. There's not a lot of applications for the shotgun in modern defense, I would say, or even offense. And so it does kind of make sense that we kind of migrate to 2-guns. So it'll be interesting to see where it all goes.
It'll be interesting to see where it goes. Like you say, it's not necessarily on their radar, but like, feel like once people get into 3-gun, shotgun becomes their favorite part. So
yeah.
I mean, truth be told, I just ordered a new shotgun today. So
which one?
I ordered a Super Black Eagle 3, and I sent it straight down to the boys at Dissident to build into a modified shotgun.
Is it left-handed?
So yeah, of course.
Oh man.
So got me a left-handed SBE. I got the camo one just for the blasphemy. And so, they're going to have them. I'm like, dude, we're doing modified. Build me a modified shotgun. I don't want to cut into the gun that I have. I'm just kind of sentimental like that.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the M2. I've been shooting the same one for years and years. But don't want to go under the knife on that one. So starting fresh, and you got to do an SBE to get to the left-handed models. They discontinued
the
M2. Well, they discontinued the M2 and the M3. I think it's the M3. But the new ones they don't do. So I did the Super Black Eagle.
Interesting. Good times, man.
Yep. So we're talking 2-gun, but I got a new shotgun in the hopper. So we'll see. But I'm stoked on this modified division. I shot it at every match it was recognized last year, and it was tons of fun. Because truth be told, I liked shooting the tube guns better than the Vepers. The Vepers are fun too. Don't get me wrong.
I shot modified at JKM with my TAC gear. I just loaded my shotgun up full. It was awesome.
And it's a tube gun, but it's a lot less loading. When you start with 13 rounds, you're going to throw some quads, but the match isn't won and lost in your quads as much as it was in TAC.
Yeah, it is a very different game with a full tube. And, me being a American, I don't know if you know that about me, Max, but I'm American. I love America.
I've often suspected.
As you can see behind me.
Yes.
I don't like downloading stuff, and I always thought it was dumb that we download our shotguns. So I'm glad modified at least is not dumb.
Yep. So yeah, we got shotgun tubes full. I don't know that the red dot's going to be a big advantage, but I want to try it.
Same here. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but
same thing with porting. I don't know that it'll be a big difference, but yeah, I'll get a ported shotgun and we'll see. Maybe you got to have it, but it might just be the most expensive duck gun you ever bought. That's for sure.
Yeah. I don't know about porting at all, but I do have this dream of just placing a dot on one of those stupid small slug targets at at Texas 3-gun and actually ringing it for once instead of my giant what's it called, fiber optic. So
well, and also for all you gear guys out there who are like, oh no, I got to port my shotgun barrel, ported choke tubes are a thing too. So you don't necessarily have to modify your barrel. You can just get a ported choke tube, which was illegal before. And I caught some cheaters. Well, they weren't actually cheaters because they didn't know they were doing it. But, ported choke tubes were illegal before, but they're very much a thing. And you just screw it in the end and you don't have to actually modify your barrel to get the advantage of a ported barrel.
Yeah, my buddy Bill got bumped to open way back in the day for a ported choke tube on his FN SLP.
Yeah.
Classic Bill.
Yep. We had a guy show up with that Mossberg Flanagan. What was Flanagan's?
Yeah, Flanagan.
The Flanagan edition shotgun.
It's basically a Jam Pro, but it was blue, right?
Yeah, and it had a super long mag tube and a super long barrel, but it had a ported barrel.
Yep.
Well, at the time that bumped you straight to open. Like there ain't nothing to open about that shotgun.
Nope.
But so that was kind of that in between area that we're looking to kind of touch with modified. And then on the rifle side, no, you can't use a tripod and you can't use all the bags and stuff that's open is open still. But sometimes it's just nice to have a bipod. Sometimes you know what? It should just be a little bit more fun with a bipod. So that's your option.
I love it. All right. Well, Max, we've covered a lot of ground here. So sign up for USPSA Multigun Nationals. Sign up for Wisconsin two-gun championship, which is going to be back at Schultz Rod and Gun Club. So Good times.
Area 5 two-gun championship. Registration for that should go live February 10th or so.
All right. Lots of shooting opportunities coming up here. Exciting year after 2 weird years post-COVID. It looks like 2023 is going to be freaking awesome. Hey, Max, I'm glad you're here, man. Let's close with a final thought. You got something to tell the people? Leave them with a stinger, bud.
Oh, wow. You put me on the spot.
Well, you should know it's coming because it comes every time.
Yeah, I guess I should. Join USPSA. Our sport needs organization. It needs a voice. It needs a central place where people come to find matches, and you deserve a consistent product. So join the organization that's putting on the most consistent product in this space.
I'd be surprised to find how many people are not USPSA members because there's so much crossover these days. With PCC, with pistol shooters, people doing winter stuff like you. I feel like there's a lot of opportunities, and from what I've seen, they're going to shoot everything. So get out there and shoot.
Because at the end of the day, that's what we all love.
The 3-Gun Show is proud to be a part of the Firearms Radio Network. If you like this type of content, help us grow the show and the shooting sports by sharing with a friend. Just open the podcast app you're using right now and hit that share button. Thanks for listening. We'll see you on the range.